Oh, we were waiting on you. All right. Count us
Okay.
down in three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority. Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's also an author. Barb is a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or you can look for it on all of the major podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. So, Barb, what's in store for today?
Well, Richard, the first topic is really about how to get the home ready before you go on the market. We get a lot of questions about that. And of course, this is a very customized, tailored consultation according to the home seller's strategy on how they want to sell, what their goals are, and how they're going to present the home. Like, so, as an example, some people move out first and sell it that way. Some people sell it while they live in it, and some people sell it completely as is, which means that we have a lot more editing on the photo front to get that looking good to get people in the door. So we're going to talk about that. And then the next topic is something that, I get to work with a lot of clients that are looking to downsize, maybe move out of state, or they're just looking for a home that requires less care, less updating, as well as not as big. So we're going to talk about the top mistakes that people make when downsizing, and of course, how to avoid them. And then the third topic is, how should you prepare for a home showing? So for everybody, it's kind of different. For some people, it's pretty easy. And basically the house is, we've already helped them get show ready and it's no big deal. But for others, it could be a problem, especially if they have to go grab, animals or something like that out of the house. But we can really limit the times of showing to make it work for you as well. So there are ways to make it less painful. And also what you should know about some of the things that the agents do during showings. As an example, just the other day, I had an agent go into one of my listings and for some reason opened the fireplace door. It was electric fireplace, and somehow leaned on it, and all of the parts of the fireplace fell out. I'm like, what are you doing? It's an inspection. It's not an inspection. It's a showing. So anyway, you never know what you're going to expect. So a lot of times I'm having to go back and talk to the seller about crazy stuff that happens during showings. And then the last topic is about the 5 mistakes that can cause a house not to sell. And you want to stay tuned for that because that's really important, especially in today's market that's a little softer than we're expecting to see in the springtime. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, in this market, the interest rates are staying about the same. And even though it's prime selling season, people don't sell homes that often. What are the 10 top things that every home seller wants to know before they list their Colorado home?
Well, I would say number one, and one of the biggest mistakes is not really having a plan. Now, most people do have a plan. And I would say the biggest fear for a lot of folks is it's going to sell too fast. And then we've got a problem because they don't have a destination. So we've got lots of solutions for all that kind of stuff. But we're going to walk through just basically, how do you get a strategy? What is your selling strategy? What do I mean by that? Are you selling as is? Are you going to do fix up repairs or not? Are you going to show the home empty? Are you going to move out first or not? So we have different things that we're going to talk about. The first one is you want to know, most people want to know what their home is worth. So I can give you a really good range and a pretty accurate number. But I will tell you that if you price at that number, it may not work. You really want to motivate the buyers to want to come see their home and make their best offer. So you really don't want to do what I call pricing or wishful thinking on pricing. A lot of people tend to do that, and it usually ends in failure. In other words, if you price too high and then gradually walk the price down because you're not getting a good response from the market, according to national studies, you're going to net less money. So that's a mistake, overpricing, number one. And the right price generally gets the most offers and the most money. Also, what you will net in your pocket, you want to know a good number for that. We'll sit down, we'll go over all the closing costs, what you can expect to pay or not pay. It's funny, more and more I'm getting questions from buyer agents going, well, how much fee are you going to pay me? And I always tell them, it depends on your offer. But there are some sellers that don't want to pay very much, and it's up to them, and they can get the rest of their fee from their buyer. So what we offer basically is a free service to help you with the strategy, give you an idea of what it will sell for and how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. Also, get a lot of questions about repairs. So not all repairs necessarily need to be done. However, if you're going to let the work be what I call deferred maintenance, then you can't expect full market value. I mean, is that common sense, Richard, or am I talking inside baseball here?
No. You are talking absolute common sense.
Yeah, I mean, people think, well, my neighbor's house sold for this much, so can't I just give them a credit for my stained carpet, or my broken formica or stuff like that? And if we get them in the door, which is hard these days with the quality of the imagery, and the buyers can see it, they vote with their feet. So your first showing is not in the house, it's online. And if they don't like what they see, they're not going to come. So if it obviously looks like it needs updating, new carpet, something like that, or there is obvious deferred maintenance, some buyers won't even come by because they may not have the resources to do it. And then I get a lot of questions about, will I get, if I put in a tankless water heater, or they'll say, I spent $10,000 on that tankless water heater. Richard, do you think that it would matter to a buyer?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think you've talked before about over improving before a sale and how you're not going to get all that much back for some of the things that you spend a lot of money for. So I would say no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's kind of a ooh-ah thing. I mean, the buyers are like, oh, that's nice, but they won't go up in price for those kind of things. It's the same as solar. I'm sure a lot of people would argue with me about solar. Solar does have some benefits in that it can reduce your electric bills, but are the buyers going to pay more for it? I just haven't been able to prove that with data. And I've asked appraisers this question too. I'll say, hey, do you think it's worth more with solar? And they're like, unless you can find me a very similar sale that sold for solar more than the other ones, then you have proof. So that's the way they look at things. The other question is, how long will it take to sell? I mean, right now we're sitting on a good 5 months, probably 4 to 5 months for the average home to get a contract. And what that actually tells me, because I actively do sell in this market, is that they didn't price it right. And I look at comps many times a week, and I'll see, oh, look, it's had more than 100 days on market. What was the problem? Oh, they priced it up here, and then they slowly walked the price down until they finally got a buyer. That is not the best recipe for getting the most money. You're always better going the opposite way, pricing what I call realistically. Other things, once you accept a contract, in general, it's 30 days contract to closing, but that's kind of up to the seller and the buyer. Like I have one right now, I have two right now that really don't, they want more than a month to move. And as long as the buyer knows that going in, it's fine. But I have seen lenders able to close now within just a couple of weeks. So if you have an empty house, that's really cool. But in general, If you're selling now, it must be priced what I call very realistically versus optimistically. Otherwise, the market's going to speak back right away. Now, most agents kind of do the same thing. They look at similar sales, they post it on the MLS, hope somebody else has a buyer. And in my view, that sort of commoditizes a home. So we go a lot further with our marketing. We want to give the buyers information about the benefit of living there. And we market directly to buyers. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about the top things that sellers should know before they put their house on the market. And next up, we'll be covering some of those, including negotiations. Richard?
We're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900 or contact her at barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, we're talking about the top 10 things that sellers want to know before they list their house for sale. So how do home sellers get their home sale to the finish line?
Well, it starts with the initial launch. You know, you're going to get most of the eyes on a home in the first 7 to 10 days you go on the market. That's why that initial launch, that what we call now the grand opening, is so critical. You got to be the best home on the block. Now, does that mean remodel? No, not necessarily. If you're not going to remodel, it means the best price home. So not all homes are beautiful. Not all homes are perfectly show ready. And that's what we help people do. And as far as negotiations, we're seeing a big variety. Buyers are asking for the sellers to pay their loan closing cost. The buyers are asking for the seller to pay their agent's commission. Sometimes they're asking for your personal stuff. Oh, you're going to include in the washer, the dryer, and fries with that too. So you have to be very clear before you go on the market what you are going to include and what you're not going to include, because those surprises at closing are not fun either. Inspections, though, are usually the biggest landmine that you really have to overcome. And sometimes deals can fall apart, not necessarily over what was wrong with the house, but it's just the perception. Like I had one that I sold recently that when it was originally built, something wasn't right with the foundation. They had to re-support it. We couldn't really find the record on it. The neighbor knew about it, and you could see these supports in the structure. And my client was so detailed. He measured everything and put a level on everything before he bought it. So there were no structural problems. But Joe Billy Bob inspector with no license comes in there and sees those supports and goes, oh, well, that's got structural problems. You should have a structural engineer look at it. So the seller spent the money on that, didn't find anything wrong. So there's just a lot of crazy stuff that happens. So we highly recommend that our clients do a pre-inspection, get prepared for this, because in the state of Colorado, there is no license to be an inspector. I could be an inspector, and believe me, there's nothing handy about me. So it really, there's no qualification to do the job. I was just in an argument this morning with an agent going, well, how come my inspector can't do the sewer scope? And I'm like, because your inspector isn't licensed, and because I've had inspectors drop stuff down sewer lines, use a fisheye lens and go out and get fake bids in order to try and influence the seller to get more money out of them. I've seen crazy town in my world. So I'm very protective about it, and I try to put rules around it, even though it's sort of the Wild West. So if you are thinking of making a move, we are experts in this. Give us a call at 719-301-3900, and we'll sit down and give you a free consultation on how to get your house ready for sale, what it would sell for right now in this market, give you a really good idea what you'll put in your pocket and what to do to get your home on the market. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker. She is the owner broker of Your Real Estate Voice and your, hang on, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Barb Schlinker. She's the host of Your Real Estate Voice and the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about downsizing mistakes, what the top ones are, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Barb has that when we come back. There you go.
As usual, I go off topic. I'm sorry.
No,
No.
you know what? It's your show. And honestly, if I thought it was a matter of, no, you know what? That's not good radio, or that sounds bad, or it looks bad, or, whatever it is, I would go ahead and I'd tell you. But
I
that's
appreciate that.
not what
I
it
I
is.
would like that feedback anytime if you think I'm off base, because I do get crabby.
I haven't heard you be off base. In fact, I'm trying to think if there was ever a time when I had to say, okay, Barb, that's just, you shouldn't do that. That's not going to look good, or anything like that. But I haven't heard that.
Thank you.
I think the most I've heard is she's asked to have a sentence removed because you didn't want one part in. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
she,
would be it.
she felt like she overstepped a line, even though we didn't recognize it.
Yeah. I watch a lot of video. I watch YouTube a lot, and there's this one that she's making like 9 figures. I mean, she's really rich and young and very pretty and all that. But um, she cusses a lot,
Oh, really?
on her videos. And I'm like, it just to me makes you look less polished, I guess,
Yeah,
is my.
no. Yep. I mean,
I think you lose some class.
Mhm.
I was going to say, there's got to be, I suppose, somewhere where it's like appropriate to do that. And, I know a lot of younger people do it, and I think they think they're being hip or something like that, because I hear it on some podcasts that I listen to. And to me, it's very, very annoying.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
not,
guess
it's
to
not
each
really
their own. You have to
necessary.
be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I am ready, Joe.
Okay. Ready?
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many people are thinking of downsizing or moving to a home with less stairs, less maintenance. Still, moving seems like a daunting project. What are you seeing as the common downsizing mistakes, and how can your listeners avoid them?
Well, Richard, it is a daunting project, regardless of your downsizing at any time. I mean, some people have it down to a skill because they do it often, especially the military folks. But they have movers. The military comes in and packs them out and takes care of it for them. But if you have to do it yourself, even if you're hiring movers, there's a lot of stuff that you probably don't want the movers to pack or touch, and so it's challenging no matter when you move. And there's a lot of folks that have stayed in their house for 20, 30, 40 years. And I hear a lot of people say, and I remember saying this when we first moved in our house, like, there's no way I'll fill this kitchen in the cabinets. It didn't even take 5 years before I filled it up. My husband's like, when I'm not home, he'll throw stuff and take it downstairs, and because it just becomes too much. But there are some things that will make the move a lot less stressful. But I will tell you just kind of a story that I would not have done it this way. They probably didn't have a choice, but it was just very difficult for them, where this wonderful couple waited way too late to say, all right, we got to move. We got to deal with this issue. And he was sick. He had a pretty tough cancer. She was also sick. She was facing memory problems. And you couldn't tell from talking to her, very lovely, nice person. But he kind of took me aside and he goes, guess what? Next time you see her, she won't remember you. I'm like, oh, really? So it's just strange. But she was doing things like she would just leave the house and walk and go away. And, so it was difficult for him to care for her as well as himself. and now they're selling the house. So when we did the staging, we worked with their stuff, trying to make it look ready for pictures. A lot of people with memory problems do not like things moved around. I don't like it. If I'm used to something being somewhere, it bothers me. But anyway, especially if they have those kind of problems. So what was going on is we set everything up, and she went behind us and changed it all back and hit a few things. So we had a strategy. We asked Mr. Seller to, okay, take her to lunch, and then we're going to go do everything all at once, set the stage, get the pictures done, and then she can put it back when she's done. And that's what we did. The other issue was they had pets. Now, people get used to pets and pet odors in their house. And this was pretty bad. She had these two little scrawny poodles. One was black, one was white. She called them Thing 1 and Thing 2, which is exactly what they look like. And they were not potty trained very well. So it was difficult. We did get it done. My suggestion to people is, if they sense that they are ready to do this, don't wait until you have to go if you can avoid it, because sometimes it's a lot harder when you do it that way. So anyway, so some things to consider is basically most people want to move either because they have too much square footage that they're living with, or they have to take too much to take care of, like a big yard with lots of grass or whatever. Or sometimes they're not using all of the property, or they're having trouble with steps, like you said, Richard. Or my parents had a really steep driveway. I was so surprised they bought that house, but they loved it. And it had a steep driveway. And I remember kind of being nervous about my dad, doing snow removal on the steep driveway, stuff like that. But anyway, stairs typically, not always, but typically are what people want to be done with. And so I'm also finding a lot of people in my age demographic are moving closer to family, or they're moving out of state. And so it's interesting to see how strong that bond is. When their kids start having grandkids, they're gone. They're going to go close to them, which I think is really cool. So some of the mistakes I see are, the whole sales process. I'll admit, this is what I ask people to do. It's not fun. Okay. Putting your house on the market, having it ready to show, having to deal with strangers coming through your house, judging your home, picking it apart, all that kind of stuff. It's not good. And the best way you can overcome that really is to make sure it's priced right out of the gate, regardless of anything else. Price it right. And then I also have some folks that they're actually afraid of it selling too fast and being stuck without a destination. And it is kind of hard if they're going to go in their next destination and make an offer contingent on their home selling and it's not sold yet. Many home sellers will not take that offer. So we have solutions for that. We actually have lenders that will come in and buy their dream home for cash and then give them 2 months to sell their current home. And even if it takes longer, that's okay. But it means they don't have to pay for the second home for 2 months, which is really cool. But I think the market has cooled off a bit. I kind of expected the spring to be a little hotter than it's been, but it's just not. This last couple of years has been pretty good, but this year, springtime is not exactly sizzle hot on fire. Also, don't underestimate the cost of moving. It is not cheap anymore, and you have to be really careful about who you select. I had one gentleman, and he was probably in his 70s, and he didn't spend a lot of time online. So he went online and was just searching moving companies, and all of a sudden somebody called him. He didn't call them, and said, "Oh yeah, we'll come over and give you a bid." So he got a bid to move him to another state. They came out and looked at the home. They gave him an estimate, and he had to give a deposit. So he had to give him almost $3,000 up front, which is unusual. Most of the movers don't charge you up front. And when they got there on moving day, all of a sudden it was, oh, this is going to cost us way more. We didn't notice that giant baby grand piano. I'm like, really? how do you miss a piano? It's not something, Richard, when you go into a room, will you see a piano in a room? I mean, come on.
I don't own a grand piano, but I have a friend who does, and it dominates the entire room. You
It,
cannot miss it.
it totally does. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God. And basically they were trying to get more money out of him on moving day, and he fired him on the spot. Get out. He had to give up his deposit. So you want to be really careful about that. I wouldn't say that industry, some are really great, but across the board, not all of them are on the up and up as they should be. Plus, they might do damage. I had one client recently where the moving van got into an accident, really serious accident, and they impounded his furniture for months. So you never know what's going to happen. So you want to make sure you have insurance in place for that transport to take place. And we can recommend some trusted vendors that do that. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about some downsizing mistakes you should be careful of. And then we're going to talk about a few more when we come back. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. We have thousands of buyers that have registered just on our websites. Plus, we can typically find over 1,000 buyers that are a high match for your home. And we will be marketing your home if you let us handle the sale. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program, owner proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, with the number 719-301-3900. We're talking with Barb about the top downsizing mistakes, more importantly, how to avoid them. So, Barb, what are some other mistakes, and how do our listeners plan to downsize but to do it with ease?
Well, Richard, I would say probably one of the more common ones is people underestimate how much stuff they have to move. People generally only use about 20% of what they own. And moving, of course, in general, is kind of an emotional thing. So a lot of times people hold on to stuff that they really don't need. And then when it's moving time, they leave it behind. Like I have a client right now, they moved out, they moved to another state and then have me put it on the market, but they didn't have space for the motorcycle. So now I'm in the motorcycle sales business, which I didn't think I was. So, I'm going to help them because they're my client, but in general, you want to really think through everything that you want to keep and get rid of, and do I really, really need it? And when you declutter, what I would do is just take it one room at a time. Don't let it be this massive, overwhelming project. I already know in my mind the rooms that I would like to declutter in my house right now. And I should do it. I just haven't done it. But I'm just saying that just do it one step at a time. I would focus on the key rooms that are going to get looked at. Curb appeal, of course, followed by the backyard, followed by the living room, followed by the kitchen, followed by the master bathroom, then the master bedroom, in that order. Most of the time when you're showing a house, the buyers, we don't take pictures of closets, and we don't take pictures of the inside of garages unless they're beautiful, which is kind of unusual, or if it's a barn or something. And even if you have stuff in there, it's okay. My team can Photoshop it right out. But generally, that is your space to put stuff away that you want to take with you. And I would take a picture of your stuff and basically tackle those important rooms first. And there's a cool sorting method that you can use. One of them is, okay, this is the keep pile, this is the donate pile, this is the trash pile, and a sell pile. Now, I've talked to folks that have used systems like Facebook Marketplace to sell their stuff. I wouldn't say, from what I've heard, it's a very fun experience because you get all these notifications. If you're big on Facebook, I'm not. I'm banned on Facebook, I think. But if you're big on Facebook, just because I'm not on it, and who knows what's happening there. But what they'll do is they'll notify you and go, oh yeah, I want to buy that. I'm going to be right over. And then they don't show up, or they show up later, and oh, well, I don't have time to get there. Or they get there and they don't have the resources to take it out. Now there are some consignment stores for furniture that you could look into. We let people use our moving vans for free if you want to downsize stuff, if they won't come pick it up. And there's also some wonderful charities that would love your used furniture, but you'd be surprised how many people won't take used furniture, even beautiful stuff. It's really kind of surprising. But in general, deal with the junk drawer, pick up shoes. One of the staging tips I get from my stagers is, especially in the master closet, everything off the floor, it makes it actually look bigger. And then trim down, especially the master closet, on stuff that you're not wearing, not using, pack it away or donate it. That would be some of the key tips. And also, if you need help, we've got some resources. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to talk to us about downsizing, that's one of our specialties. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company that I would recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. How do they get more information, Barb?
Just give us a call. I mean, we help people all the time. Just call us at 719-301-3900. We even have some free reports on barbhasthebuyers.com to help you with just that, Richard.
When you, I'm sorry, that was kind of awkward because I've never seen that before, but it was in the script, so I did that. Let me just finish up here. When we come back, we'll be discussing the top things to do before you even show your home. Barb will have that when we come back.
Okay.
I should have just gone through it. I think I threw you off a little bit there.
That's okay. David
He can do anything.
He can do
He's
anything.
actually getting AI.
He's amazing.
He's getting AI with our voices so we can just have a say. I'm Barb Schlinker. I'm going to have a 50% off of this home out there in Calhan.
Oh my God, that's scary.
Oh, gosh. I will say.
House, if you can get out here in the next 30 minutes.
Jeez, yes. I've done a couple of things on using AI, and it's pretty rudimentary. I just don't really know much at all, but I can tell you this. The little knowledge I had and just the little editing thing I had, it's kind of scary because I think most people would understand that's not really Richard talking.
Right.
But I think there'd be some people who would be able to, be fooled by it, and it's only going to get worse. So
I can tell when I'm watching a video that's AI, usually some word gets drug out or something weird like that. And the problem I have with asking AI stuff is, especially for the radio show, I'm like, no, that's just not me. That's not me. I'm not going to say that.
well,
You know,
they had some video. Iran's so freaking stupid. They had some video purportedly of Iran soldiers. They're aqua soldiers who were swimming along the surface while holding their guns. And it took you about 5 seconds to realize there were three hands. Two hands were swimming, and one was holding the gun. And I'm like,
what's
maybe
wrong
these are
with this
just
picture?
editors who want to send a little message to us that they're not going to play along or something. Because if I were their boss, I'm like, really? You put three hands there? We're trying to convince them that we're all dangerous and everything?
I guess that would be a benefit for a soldier. Three hands.
So have you ever seen any of these videos of the King's Guard on horses over in England, and then people who get too close to them or that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was one I found it the other night, and it was honestly I mean, it was gut wrenching. I mean, every time I watched it, it just about pulled your heart out of. I'm going to send it to you. See if it's as emotional as I think it is. All right. I've got number 3. We're talking about the horses, the guard on the horses over there in England. Don't get too close to me. But every now and then, they make an exception. I'm going to send you the exception. I've looked at it a dozen times. I get choked up every time I look at it. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're heading into the spring selling season. So how do home sellers prepare to present their homes, and what should they do when they're expecting a showing?
Well, Richard, I would say, the ideal scenario is to put your house on the market and have all the stars align within the first 2 weeks of it going on the market. If you're getting a contract within the first 2 weeks, then you've done something right. You've priced it right. You marketed it right. Everything's great. But if not, then it's off. There has to be a correction, and it should be made quickly. In general, the buyers are looking for the best home at the best price, and they know price. I think they know price better than real estate agents. Just the other day, I got feedback from some agent, that obviously told her buyer that the home wasn't worth that much. Now, it's unfortunate that she did that. I think agents' job is to sell homes, not talk buyers out of homes. I don't know why they do that other than to try to position themselves as alleged experts. But, at the end of the day, the data doesn't lie. According to Zillow, 72% of agents sold 0 homes last year, and a majority are only selling 2 or 3. So how do they know what the value is, and why is there a buyer there anyway if it's not worth that much? Because that's what buyers do. They vote with their feet. If they don't think it's priced right, they wouldn't be there. So I don't know. I don't understand why agents say that, but it kind of gets under my skin, as you can tell. So when someone wants to see your home, what do you want to do? First of all, the first showing is online. That's what I meant when I just said they vote with their feet. Zillow has a saying, screen appeal is the new curb appeal, meaning they are deciding based on the online presentation. It's not just the pictures, it's the description, it's the price. They will not even show up if they don't like it. Okay, that's how it works these days. It was different years ago before the pictures were really good quality, where you'd have to get with an agent and they would decide what homes you'd go to see, and the agent had a say. But now that's not the case at all. The buyers are deciding based on what they're seeing in the marketplace right now. So, your agent has to make sure it's properly presented in the first place. So, that's number one. So when you have a showing scheduled, you want to make sure a lot of agents and buyers would prefer that the seller not be home. And the reason for that is they want to walk around the house and talk about the home, and feel free to give constructive feedback. Because when I'm showing a home, and I will tell you, I want the buyer to tell me what they like and what they don't like. That way, if that's not the home for them, I can find it, right? But generally, I'm not finding it. They're deciding. And most of them are really good at giving me feedback on what they like and don't like. And sometimes it's strange reasons. You want to make sure you take pets out. Now, there's certain pets you can't take, like if they're in an aquarium or something, you can't take those. I see scorpions on the slide. I actually had a client that had scorpions in a fish tank, but thank God they moved out before we put it on the market, because I think that would have been unappealing. I've had clients that had a big giant boa constrictor in the tank, and I've asked them, it just doesn't show well to have those creatures in the house. Kids, too many cars parked outside, a pile of remotes on the counters, prescription meds. Now, why is this important? There are people that, well, let me back up. Buyers will say, oh, I love that house. I want to see that house, right? Most agents are not obligated to verify the buyer can buy, right? So a lot of agents, since there aren't very many sales going on with most agents, they do what I call Pop-Tart. They pop out of the toaster and go show the home without really vetting whether or not the buyer can buy, has the financial ability to buy, or anything about them. And as an example, the #1 search website in the country is Zillow. They have 64% of the buyers' eyes on their website. If you click that blue button on Zillow, you're going to get some random agent that really doesn't know the house. They're just paying for leads on Zillow. But what they offer to the buyer is, would you like to schedule a viewing? So what do you think the buyer's expecting? A viewing. They don't want to be vetted. They don't want to show that they can buy a house. They want the agent to open the door. That's all they want. So if that person may be unscrupulous and might be looking for things like prescription meds or jewelry or anything like that, I would say a majority of agents don't check. They don't meet them at the office. They don't check their ID. They roll the dice and show up at the door and hope everything is going to work out. So it's really, really important that you secure any information, any kind of stuff that might be a theft item, little things that they could steal, prescription medications, guns, money, anything like that. Also, put away mouse traps for the showing. Pet bowls don't really show that well. And then, of course, valuables. I've got lots of stories, not too many, fortunately, about valuables. Okay, so sometimes the agents will show up late. Sometimes they'll show up early. Sometimes they won't show up at all, even though they scheduled. Or like what happened recently is I had a buyer that had written an offer show up unannounced. I've had clients tell me, how come there are people in my garage or in my backyard, or why are they peeking in my window at 9 o'clock at night? Sometimes these homes look so staged that the buyers are assuming nobody lives there. So they take some, what I think are not very courteous liberties by going up on the property and peeking in the window and stuff like that. So don't be surprised by that. But don't let them in. If you happen to confront them and they're like, oh, I saw this online, I really like to see it, do not let them in unless they're with a licensed agent. Okay. And you have their contact information. Also, a lot of agents will tell you, oh, make it available for showing all the time. You want to make it available the moment the agent demands to see it. But what you may not know is some agents are setting up times that are convenient for the agent, not the buyer. Okay. Make it work for you. So I tell people, all right, let me know what are the no-go times for showings. Maybe that's early in the morning, which we don't see too many early in the morning showings. But now that the days are getting longer, we do see some late at night showings. You can say no. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's great if you have cameras up. Just saying. And so I generally will tell sellers, look, restrict the showings and the schedule to make it work for you. If the buyer, based on the marketing that we do, if the buyer really wants to see it, make it work for you and they will make time to be there. Okay, and what if you get an offer, and this is something to do with showings, that they say is contingent on their home selling? Well, tell me, Richard, you're a home seller and I come to you and go, Richard, I have this offer contingent on a home selling that's not on the market yet, and she doesn't know what she's going to price the home at. Will you please reserve your house for this large maybe buyer?
Wow. Tell me that sort of thing does not happen. Does that really happen, Barb?
Every week. It's so frustrating for me. I've even gone so far to tell the agents, look, you don't have a buyer yet. They get mad at me when I say that, but they don't. The buyer can't buy. However, it's wonderful that they like that property. We don't really want to discourage them. And we have solutions for them. We have lenders that could come in and pay cash for their dream home and give them time after to sell their current home. And I'll share it with other agents, not just my own clients. But, I think that it's 1 month of school to be a real estate agent. Not everybody knows about all the programs. So we absolutely have solutions. We have a trade up program. We have a cash offer program. We have 3 or 4 buy before you sell programs where we can solve those issues, because most home sellers don't want uncertainty, meaning they accept a contract, but they don't know when they're going to get to the finish line because they're waiting for some other house to sell. And when you pile on top of that, not just their house selling, but they also have to get a loan and go through the whole process on your home. So you're really worried about 2 buyers when you take a contingent offer, and we can help you with that. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So, Barb, what are some other things that home sellers really should do before they allow their home to be shown to others?
Well, impressions absolutely do matter. Buyers are super picky. If you've got old tired carpet, I would recommend that you replace it. I mean, you can do a credit, but it's not as impressive as just replacing it. And I've heard the stories about, well, but I replaced the carpet and then my neighbor told me they just took that out and put something else in. It's okay. You got it sold if that's the point. Make sure you neutralize any dramatic colors. Remove heavy furniture, excess furniture, put away bath plungers, bath rugs, toiletries. Try not to let cars be parked outside. And in general, you want an experienced agent that's done this before. Also, please don't use air fresheners. Those are absolutely overwhelming. I had somebody in my family that was actually allergic to those things. So I had to do the Bloodhound Nose recon before I showed him homes every time, so she didn't get sick when she went in. Make sure you fix broken stuff. Inspectors are hitting on every house now that if the smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors are more than 10 years old, they should be replaced for, quote, safety. So just be aware of those things, and you could get ahead of this. Some of these things you can actually do yourself. And generally, buyers won't look at homes if they're not marketed correctly. So make sure that if you do hire another agent, that you're absolutely making sure that it's marketed correctly. If the pictures are right and the data is right, all that stuff is absolutely critical, because you have that short window to make an impression with the buyer, and they really do need to visualize themselves living in the home. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. One more little thing about offers. If they're not a contingent offer and they make a lowball offer, please don't reject them. Perhaps you should counter them with what you will accept, because a lot of buyers don't like rejection. So if you're working with them, it's okay. And you never know what a buyer will pay. You also never know if their real estate agent jumped in there and said, "Oh, it's not worth that much. This is a weak market. I would offer this much." But the buyer really wants the house. So try not to get in the way and get too indignant about it. If you work with them, sometimes it will work out. And I've had it happen many a time. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the top seller mistakes that can actually cause a home not to sell, plus Barb's hot new listings. Don't miss that. I told you, don't miss that. It's not a suggestion.
So do you think,
What? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, were those stories a little bit too dramatic?
No. In fact, I figure we were probably running a little bit late because I wanted to just say, for some people, it's the art of the deal. And they're like, well, it doesn't hurt to try. And then they're liable to come back and negotiate, which is something you know how to do, and end up with a very, very good price.
Yeah, it's just amazing that the agents get in the middle and try to blow up the deal.
And I didn't have time to go into it, but I will tell you this. I have seen more deals blown up, not by real estate, but I'm talking about legal things, everything from just everything And you get lawyers, and that was me in those days. I was one of the ones sometimes that was just going through each and everything, and it was great advice, but the cumulative stop and let's change that comma and let's do this and this at a certain point, not the other attorney, but the clients are liable to just say, for the love of God, could we just do this or not?
Right.
Answer them real quick.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. In the phone world. Let's see. Oh, that works out.
Any fun messages?
I thought I was going to have to go down and show my listing down in South Pueblo, but they can't. They just said they found another home.
Well, I'm glad they actually reached out, because 9 times out of 10 they would have just let you show up and
Yeah.
go, oh, I forgot.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to cancel it anyway.
Did you watch the Derby? I hate to be all non-real estate.
No, I
but-
saw the very last like 5 minutes of it. It wasn't really the race. I saw the person, basking in the sunlight kind of thing.
I'm going to send you the race by text message because it is so. I mean, the fact that this woman won is really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
what I was going to tell my daughter is she thinks that conservatives, we're not in favor of winning women, succeeding and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, you couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, what's exciting about this is it wasn't a DEI thing where somebody just gave her this thing. She went out there, she worked hard, just like all of the other people have, and she ends up prevailing. But the horse was so far behind. In some of the videos, they don't really do a good job of showing you how far back it was because
Yeah,
there's like
I
three.
heard it was like in the back, right?
Oh my God, way in the back. I'll send it to you. You'll like it. All right. I've got number 4 here ready to go.
That's incredible. They could like pass all these high
Well, and they have
racer,
like an
like that.
overhead. It must be like a drone that shows from overhead, and you can see, sometimes how there's no room. Horses trying to get between two horses, there's no room there. They've got to go all the way outside, which amazes me because the first and second place horses had to run a lot further than the other horses did because they had to, make their own way by going all the way outside. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't bother your time if I didn't think it was. All right, I'm good to go. David,
Cool.
he's ready.
Ready?
Here we go, Barb. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most home sellers have a great deal of love for their properties, of course. And sometimes that translates into unrealistic beliefs, resulting in mistakes that could cost them thousands or even have the house not sell. What are some of the top seller mistakes that can cause a home not to sell or to sell for far less than expected?
Well, Richard, I would say the number one problem that most people have, and of course, they want the most money, right? In general, most home sellers want the most money. But if they price it too high, the buyers are going to find something else. It's just that simple. They'll find something else they like better. And, I don't think I want to go see that, or I'm not interested in that. And you really can't rely on those online Zestimates like Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever, credit cards that say what your home is worth. It's nice information, but at the end of the day, the market decides, the buyers decide whether or not they love it and they want to make an offer. And I can help you, show you how to get the market to decide. But in general, everybody, has a special emotional attachment to their home. I get that. And sometimes they feel as though the things that they've done to it might be more valuable than what the buyer thinks, right? So sometimes it's helpful just to look back and see what else is out there in your price range. Look at the competition. And a lot of smart sellers do that. They look around, they know everything that's going on around them, but you really want to look at your home from the buyer's eyes. So things like, tired carpet. Like I had one 2 years ago in the Glen Eagle area, very, very nice home, very well built, cool floor plan, great views. And they had only kind of half done the update. So they updated the basement carpet, so that looked good. But upstairs, the tired carpet wasn't really obvious until they moved the furniture out. And then it stood out like a sore thumb. Some little things like the borders around rooms are relatively easy to take off, but they just date the home, little stuff like that. And it could be something simple like that that's enough for a buyer to say, I'll go find something else, something more updated. You wouldn't believe what they think is updated or not updated. And according to the National Association of Realtors, 41% of buyers won't go look at a home that they think needs work. So if you're trying to maximize the value, the number one mistake is a failure to make the important updates. Now, I'm not saying you have to update every home. Okay. I have had clients. I had one last year. I really enjoyed that one. It was a 1960 built house. The kitchen and the appliances in the kitchen were original to the house. So how many years is that? It's like, 65 years old. And, but it was so cute and it was so well maintained. They had updated all the right things, updated windows, updated electrical. The flooring looked really good. And it was priced right. That was the key. It was priced right for what it had. It didn't necessarily have to have brand new stainless steel appliances. and they did a great job. It had granny carpet over the top of these gleaming hardwood floors. So Mr. Seller took those off and made it look real pretty, but the kitchen was original and it sold for a bidding more. It's all about pricing, probably the most important factor in there, but it was enough where the buyer could look at it and go, oh, I can move in, drop my stuff, live in this home without doing any work. So in general, the buyers really love cosmetic updates. So make sure if there's any broken stuff, you take care of it. Sometimes it's just subliminal, like you're walking up to the home and the landscaping looks unkept. The doorbell is broken, just stuff like that. Really easy to fix that people just don't notice because they live like that. And then when it's time for photo day, you don't necessarily have to worry about every closet. We're not going to take pictures of the inside of closets. We're not typically going to take pictures of the inside of garages unless they're super special. But for closets, especially the master closet, you want to minimize what's in there. Mine is packed to the gills, so I'm not showing my house right now. And you want to make sure you get everything off the floors, right? Another mistake, which I see, which is okay, you can still recover from it, but making after the fact improvements. So if you get the most eyes on the home the first 30 days, then do that stuff before you go on the market. Don't wait until after, and then you get feedback to go, oh, it needed too much updating, it needed new carpet. I've seen people do that and they have had a successful sale, but in general, they would have netted more money had they done that before they went on the market. And then of course, pricing, I talk about pricing all the time, but pricing is number one. And the market is absolutely going to speak back if you got that wrong. You'll be able to tell by the volume of showings. If you go 10 days and no showings, it's priced too high. If you go 10 days with showings and no offers, it's priced too high. If you're getting offers and you don't like them, it's priced a little bit high, probably. But the buyers are going to tell you, they're going to vote with their feet. They're going to show up if they like the price of the home. I have a listing, right now. It's beautiful, but it's a price thing. There's nothing wrong with the house at all, but it's a price thing. So you really want to make sure you get that right. I'm showing a picture right now that was in a really great location that needed a little work. It had a few things that were broken, but what that seller chose to do was to price below similar sales, and it sold for a bidding more, had a huge crowd. Or if you price it just right, like you don't overprice the home, that is absolutely the recipe to get the most money. Another mistake is bad photos. So if it's a bad photo, let me just say it, don't use the photo. Okay. We do have to have just one front photo. And I've seen agents do that where they only put one front photo and that's all. And there are some buyers that will reject it because they don't trust it. But simple stuff is really easy to fix. Like I'm showing a picture right now where the refrigerator is covered in things that are magnetized to the refrigerator door. There's a bunch of junk on the counters. I can see, I don't know, a dog fence, room fence thing in there. It just looks very cluttered, right? There are a lot of people that don't study marketing, including real estate agents. So you want to make sure you hire somebody that doesn't create what I call demand destruction and post those photos that can actually repel a buyer. Another huge mistake is doing this on your own. I mean, I've talked to many people that have sold their own home, and that's fine. They're probably good for them, right? You can hire an attorney and have them write the contract. If you have somebody that that wants to buy the house, and there's nothing wrong with that. Except you might leave a little money on the table. According to the National Association of Realtors, the average person that sells for sale by owner leaves $70,000 on the table. So in general, the commission should make up for that. So if you are thinking of making a move, we help people do this all the time. We help you get ready no matter what your selling strategy is. And generally, we're going to sit down with you. We're going to look at your home, give you a really good idea what your home will sell for, help you prepare your home for sale, let you know how much you're going to put in your pocket when it sells. And it's a free service. You're never obligated to sell. Give us a call, 719 301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program, and if you are thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, your favorite time for the lightning round of some of your hot new listings. What do you have this week?
Absolutely. I have a beautiful home, 2436 North Meade Avenue, priced at $335. Gleaming hardwood floors, big one-car garage, lots of storage space, in great shape. We have another gorgeous home up in Crystal Park. Have you ever been up there, Richard? Crystal Park?
I love it. I had a friend who lived up there, and it is spectacular.
It's so beautiful up. You feel like you're in the middle of the mountains somewhere. It's a gated community behind Manitou Springs. Absolutely gorgeous place. This home is relatively new. Ranch with a finished basement with a detached RV garage in perfect condition, and they are offering a VA assumable loan. What that means is you can walk in the door with a low interest rate. Gorgeous home down in Pueblo on 62 acres, priced at $599, over 5,000 square feet with a 4-car garage. We also have another home on Monica Drive. This is in the southeast part of town, priced at $359.9. Gorgeous patio home on Quartzsite Place in the mid-4s, backs to open space with gorgeous Pikes Peak views. This home is absolutely move-in ready. Another beautiful home in Peyton on 10890 Cascading Spring Circle. This home is priced at $489.9. It is completely move-in ready. I mean, it has all kinds of smart systems. You could live in this home, leave for a couple of months, and come back and control everything from an app. It's really cool. We have a fabulous townhome in the southwest part of town and a very popular Cheyenne District Schools, 420 Autumn Heights. It's a townhome priced at $264.9. Featuring open today, actually 12 to 1 today, 10445 Marble Creek Road. This beautiful home in Creekside, right off of Old Ranch Road, Voyager, is in School District 20. It backs to Kettle Creek. It has gorgeous views. It's been completely updated, especially the master and the main bath and the kitchen, and has some great views from decks. We also have a fantastic home on Balsam Street. This is an urban garden in the backyard. It's amazing. It has 24 different planting beds, so you can actually have produce year round, yet it's very water efficient. The water bill on this home is very, very low. Beautiful condition with a finished basement. Another stunning home on 7738 Desert Wind Drive. This is in Indigo Ranch, close to Peterson Air Force Base. 3,800 square feet with a 3-car garage, beautiful home with a gorgeous enclosed patio, priced at $599. Special property on 920 Binger Drive down in Fountain, close to Fort Carson. This gorgeous 2-story home has over 2,000 square feet, attached 2-car garage, detached 1-car, plus a carport. So for the family with all the toys, this is it. We also have a beautiful ranch that's perfect for downsizers, 8611 Chancellor Drive, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car, no HOA, in pristine condition. Another home down in Pueblo, 5101 Gold King Road, in the upper 3s, 378, gorgeous 2-story, 4 bedrooms. Another amazing home on 5 acres on Warriors Path Drive, priced at $624. And then a beautiful hobby farm out on Judge Orr Road, 5,000 square foot custom home with a detached kind of barn dominium living space, 2 beautiful custom barns, parking for 8 to 11 cars, and gorgeous views. And last but not least, an amazing home, 2754 County Road 421 up in Florissant, 35 acres, has an amazing detached huge garage. That thing probably can fit at least 8 cars, your favorite tractor. It could easily be configured for an RV, and it has an apartment inside. So if you are thinking of making a move and you would like to find out about all of our properties, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured properties, or give us a call, 301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every weekend. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or simply visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can find replays of the show at barbhasthebuyers.com or listen to the podcast on all of the platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and many others. Thank you for listening. To reach out, again, that number for Barb is 719-301-3900. Thank you for listening. Barb, you have a great week and a great weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend too.
All right.
Yay, we got it. Got it done early for once.
You know what? I was looking at the clock and I'm like, I'm not sure we've done this in a long time because I'm always looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, he's going to have to walk across and start the other thing and come back. We're pretty proud of ourselves, DJ. He's giving us a
He's
not
clapping.
a standing ovation, but nope, he's standing. All right, so what do you like here? Top things every seller wants to know before they list their home. Downsizing mistakes, how to avoid them, things to do before you show your house, and the 5 seller mistakes that can cause a house not to sell.
I think the top things.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Well, wait. We got 2 of those. Top things that every seller wants to know before they list their home, or the one top things to do before you show your home.
I think top things every seller wants to know.
Agree. All right. Headphones are off. Here we are. 3, 2, 1. Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, airs every Saturday from 11 until noon, right after Cudlow, here on 740 KVOR. This weekend, Barb will be talking about the top things every seller wants to know before they even list their home for sale. Too long?